Well, greetings everybody. This is Casey with HomeSmart Realty Partners here in Northern Colorado. Over the past few days, property owners have received these property valuations from the County Assessor's Office. They come out every 2 years in Colorado. And homeowners have opened these up in utter shock and disbelief at how much their property valuations have increased based on the County Assessor's records. Now, mine over this few-year period went up $78,900, which is pretty conservative for most of the people that have contacted me via text and email, my buyers that I had over the last couple of years and some years before. Their property valuations have increased anywhere from 42% to, get this, 93%. And that last one was a couple in Castle Rock, which I helped find a property for. We closed on it of May of 2022. They just received their property valuation, and it has actually gone up 93% from the last time a valuation was done in 2021. So from 2021 to 2023 is a 93% increase in their perceived property value. The 2 years of COVID from 2021 to 2022, I'd never seen anything like that in my lifetime in terms of what properties were listing and selling for. And I've been around the real estate industry for 4 decades, starting back in 1983, the first 3 as a builder, and the last 10 leading people through its murky waters. Now, the way these work is when properties sell, no matter from what the list price was, the sale price reflects the perceived property value. And I have a whole folder full of properties that I pulled off the MLS that I use as far as gauging how things are going. And the average property over the last year and a half, 18 months, sold for $40,000 over list. And properties were selling anywhere from $10,000 to $120,000 over list in Larimer County is mostly where I've had these sale records pulled from the MLS. When these things happen, the ones that are cash sales, mostly they don't have any kind of appraisal or inspection because they are a cash sale, and these cash buyers don't want to deal with all the other things that might come to be, and they take the property, so to speak, in as-is condition. Now, lenders require appraisals to be done on properties. And when properties close, like I said, for obscene amounts over the current market value, which is usually close to the list price, they will use these new sales where they're selling anywhere from $10,000 to $120,000 over list and use those as the new perceived market value. Hence, the property valuations from the county assessor's office get these massive increases in perceived property values. The last time I dealt with this personally was in 2017, when my valuation over a 2-year period increased $80,400. I contested it online. They rejected it. They said, if you still want to contest it, you can come in person, which I did. So I pulled 3 recent sales in my complex. All 3 recent sales were identical to my property, same floor plan, same layout, same number of bedrooms, bathrooms, everything was identical. And they sold anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 over list. The 2 that sold for $20,000 to $30,000 over list were cash sales, no inspection, no appraisal. And I was still doing work for a property management company and taking side jobs in construction on a very limited and selective basis. I'd worked on all 3 of these properties, and I brought the MLS sheets, laid them out in front of the appraiser, and I said, I've worked on all 3 of these properties. All of them still had the same 70 shit windows, the same 70 shit cabinets, all falling out of the frames. The cabinets were pretty much way beyond their useful life. And I asked the assessor and their appraiser sitting next to them, how do you evaluate properties? Do you take them on a case-by-case basis and look at age, condition, and anything else in terms of upgrades or no upgrades? Their response was, no, we do a blanket valuation. And that's how these valuations are done for counties. Essentially, it's like throwing a big blanket over the county, over the city, or over different places in that county and taking the averages. So, and essentially, it's like sitting in a commercial jetliner at 35,000 feet, pointing down at the ground, pulling a number out of your backside, and saying that's how much that property is worth without going into any kind of details to compare apples to apples. I'm going to help my clients, the ones that have reached out to me, on working my hardest to fight these property valuations using reason and logic, which is pretty much devoid in the real estate industry, and seeing if we can come up with something as far as price corrections. Because the clients, my buyers in Castle Rock, their valuation is about $25,000 over what they even paid for the property after having to pay $65,000 over list because of ludicrous stupidity that happened in the real estate industry last year in terms of massive amounts of bloat and people just either being desperate or getting cornered into having to forced to pay these kind of prices. I wish you all the best in terms of fighting these valuations and using reason and logic, and hopefully the county will try to adjust your figures to a point where it's actually doable. Because what it does, it hurts people most, the ones that have either lived in a property, just purchased the property, wanting to live there for an extended period of time, or those on fixed incomes, which were one of my clients that bought a property in 2014, which is a 1970s, a beautiful brick ranch that I found for him, built by meticulous craftsmen, which is still all original. Their property valuation went up $168,000, and they've seen increases of their property taxes in lieu of $1,000, which for them on a limited income or fixed income is going to be hard to come up with. And people like that get forced to sell, unfortunately. It's a very unjust system the way it's structured now, and I would like to see it change.